This is the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone are financial and diamond expert Harold Siegel. We're taping our show on February 6th, the Friday, 2015. Our time is 8:52 Mountain. Our radio show is portable. We go anywhere you do via our podcast on iTunes. Type in the World Financial Report on Radio. You'll find our podcast. You can subscribe to it, have it on your portable device, listen to it at your convenience, portably, anytime you want. We also have the show streaming archived on Harold's two websites, HESradio.com and rarecoloreddiamonds.com. You can listen to the show there as well, streaming at your convenience. Connect with Harold at rarecoloreddiamonds.com. rarecoloreddiamonds.com. The telephone number, 1-800-432-1022. Harold's auction site, we'll talk more about it later, is hsfineauctions.com. Our featured diamond of the week, and we had a similar diamond last week, and it is stunning. It's a .38 carat fancy gray blue oval argyle. Just a beauty. And you can see it at our featured diamond of the week, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, and in our free weekly newsletter. You can get our free weekly newsletter from Harold. All you need to do is connect with him, and he'll be happy to send it out to you via email, free of charge. This week, in fact, this morning, numbers coming out, Canadian employment up 35,000 in January. Unfortunately, most of the jobs, all part-time jobs. Jobless rate, 6.6% in the United States. They gained 257,000 jobs. Jobless rate up 5.7%. Canadian dollar, and this is Canadian to U.S., not U.S. to Canadian. Canadian dollar at 80.21. The oil market, oil right now at 51.53 roughly. One of the big stories this week, Greece. The Prime Minister came out and said, we are not going to take orders anymore. And Greece is in a very dicey position. New government, they need to obviously work with the EU and develop some sort of package to give them new money because they're going to run out of money by March. Yet at the same time, the EU wants reassurances that it's going to get its money back and has tightened the screws on Greece to make sure that has happened as well. It's a situation that will play out over time. In fact, the head of Germany, Angela Merkel, believes this could go on for months. Geopolitically, fighting in the Ukraine. It's starting to get very, very serious in the Ukraine. And Harold, one of the most stunning stories I think I have ever read and seen, the situation with ISIS burning that Jordanian pilot alive. I've had a lot of friends talk to me about that, people that really even don't follow geopolitical events that closely, just literally shocked this has happened. And the Jordanian king is... he said, we are going to get ISIS. We are going to track them all down, and we are going to basically take care of them. But just a stunning scene. So you can see geopolitically and financially around the world with what's going on in Europe, and geopolitically with infighting, obviously, in the Ukraine and with the fight against ISIS. Harold, it is a very dicey time.
It is. It's a mess, Randy. And again, what a horrible way to die. And how in the world can this ISIS group, oh my God, it's incredible, and a lot of emotion at this point. And I agree 100% with what the Jordanian king is doing. It's just a horrible situation. And you're right, Randy, geopolitically, things are crazy around the world. Not only financially, I mean, look what's happening with the euro at this point. At one time, the euro was one of the strongest currencies, and because of what happened a couple of weeks ago in Switzerland, where they actually bought the Swiss franc, sold the euro when it was at 120. The euro now is trading at 113. It dropped substantially in one day. In fact, in just a couple hours, the euro went from 120 to 112, and the Swiss franc went up 30% in that same period of time. It's very dangerous for a currency to react like that. Very seldom will a currency ever do anything like that, especially to see a 30% increase in a currency in 1 month. Now, for some people, they were happy with it. If your money's in Swiss francs, you and you're actually doing business or living in another country type of thing and using your currency, you did okay. However, a 30% increase in a currency like the Swiss franc will hurt their exports tremendously and make them non-competitive. So, again, these currency changes can be good in one sense, but can be very detrimental in another sense. Just look at the Canadian dollar. The Canadian dollar versus the U.S. dollar has changed so dramatically within the last year. I mean, it was just basically a year ago that the Canadian and American were close to each other, and it was just about a year and a half ago that the Canadian was worth more than the U.S. dollar. Now you're talking about almost a 30% difference in the currency, and Canadians, myself included in that, will see when you travel to a different country. Now to the United States, basically it means that when you convert your Canadian dollars to American, if you want $1,000 American, it costs you $1,300 Canadian, which to do so. So that's what the currency market can do to you. It can change your entire net worth, and you're going to see a lot of that going on in Europe. The situation in Greece is basically out of control. We don't see any chance that Greece is going to get out of their financial situation. That's going to spread to all other countries. Italy has never really recovered. France has never really recovered. Greece has always been in trouble. And again, these currency changes are just going to wreak havoc on the marketplace. To see the euro drop from a 1.150 actually to 160 and now to be at 112 just shows you how severely the currency markets are being affected. Now, what also affects the currency markets are the commodity markets, mostly gold and silver. So as we're trading today, where the U.S. dollar is actually very strong today. On Thursday, the market was, the U.S. dollar was down substantially. Today, it's up almost a full penny. It's up 94 points at 94.47. As a result of that, gold is down $30 today. So gold is trading right now at $12.35. Did trade as high as $12.69.50. Silver is down 50 cents. It's at $16.82. It did trade as high as $17.44 on Friday as we're taping the show. Now, as the U.S. dollar strengthens or as other currencies weaken, same scenario, you're going to see that gold is going to continue to fall back. So we're predicting at this point that gold is going to take another tumble. We think that gold could retest the 1150 level, which I think is a no-brainer. It's about $80 from where it is right now. You can see that in a couple of days, the way the markets are trading. But ultimately, we see gold, if it breaks through the 1150 level, will test the $1,100 support level and then possibly go to $1,000. At $1,000, we would be a major buyer of gold. In actual fact, we're gearing up for that. You'll find that when gold hits that level, it's going to be very similar, and we've talked about this the last few weeks, about what happened in 72 when gold was at $35. Very similar to when gold recently, when we started trading gold 15 years ago, it was at the bottom at 250. We saw a rally where gold went from $35 to $100 to $200 back in the mid-70s. We saw another situation where gold went from, in 2000, went from 250 all the way up to 1900 and now back down to 1150. So again, we're getting similar market movements than we did in the middle part of the 70s to what we saw during the bull run where gold went up substantially from 35 again to $200. Then at $200 gold started to back off and fell 50% and really panicked a lot of traders that got out of the gold market at that point. Very similar to when gold went from 1900 down to 1150. The reason we say that gold could go to 1,000 or very close to it is the similar move and the similar pullback that we saw when gold dropped from 200 to 100 back in the mid-70s. So, again, we're using that basically as a guideline to what this gold market could easily do. And, again, we're seeing a lot of similarities to the markets in the mid-70s and late 70s to what we're seeing at this point. So if gold does pull back to the $1,000 level and you hold physical gold, which you should be doing, again, you're not trading this market. You're not selling out of the market. It doesn't matter what the market does on a day-to-day basis. All it does is what the trend is going to do to gold. And if we look back at 79 and 80, when gold finished the move from 200 to 100 and then started to make its monumental run, that's when we saw gold go from 100 to 850. You saw an 850 percent increase in the price of gold from 100 to that 850 level, and that's what we believe we're going to see again. We think that we're going to see that 50% retracement in gold from 19 and change down to around $1,000. Then we anticipate that the price of gold could literally go to $5,000 to $8,000, very similar to the movement that we saw. Now, why would gold ever do that? Why would gold go to 2,000, 3,000, 5,000? It's primarily because of the tremendous amount of debt that the United States has at this point. The fact is they owe trillions of dollars. They printed so much money with quantitative easing that that money could probably never be paid back. So with that and the fact that we're going to see high inflation, and that has to come eventually, that's why we believe that gold will make those monumental moves. And we believe it's going to happen at a time when most people don't even look at the gold market, just like happened in 79 and 80 when gold went from basically $100 to $850. So again, we're still extremely bullish on gold, but for the short term, due to the strength of the U.S. dollar, we believe gold is going to pull back to around $1150, which is about $80 from where it is right now. If the $1150 level is broken, then we think it's going to test $1,100 and ultimately possibly test the $1,000 level. At that point, we should be in a position to be able to bring to you gold at spot price with no commissions. So again, that's certainly worth waiting for. But Randy, again, the markets have been crazy, extremely volatile. It doesn't matter what negative news comes out. The Dow can drop for 3 days in a row, can drop 400, 500, 600 points, and then they seem to rally the market for no apparent reason. That's one of the major reasons why I do not trade in the stock markets at all. It makes absolutely no sense that the U.S. stock market should be at almost 18,000 when the economy doesn't come close to reflecting 18,000 in the Dow. We know that the unemployment numbers in the United States are pathetic. They're not at 5.7%. They're closer to 20%. So the fact is that the middle class is really not working, and unless the middle class gets back to work, you're going to find that there's no way that the U.S. economy can get stronger because it's the middle class that does all the spending. As we've been talking, gold is now down $35 and silver's down 63 cents, and that happened within the last minute. So, again, we do believe that there's more downside to the gold market. However, over the longer term, we anticipate the gold prices will skyrocket, and we will be involved in that run. Again, we have to see certain downside moves happen before the upside can happen, but again, it's going to be worth waiting for. So, again, between the currency markets, Randy, what's happening in commodities, and again, the ridiculous moves in the stock market here in the United States, the markets are just very unpredictable at this point. But again, don't speculate, don't leverage, certainly don't leverage commodities or gold. You want to be in the physical market. You do not want to leverage your position in any way, shape, and form.
And more than likely, one of the reasons gold down today, the perception being that the U.S. had a good employment number, and as a result, there could be a rate increase in the United States. And most people just do not believe that is going to be the case, that the Fed raises interest rates anytime soon. If you look at what's happening around the world, it would be very difficult to do on their part. Connect with Harold. Speak with him about investing in hard assets, diamonds, gold, and silver. RareColoredDiamonds.com is Harold's website, RareColoredDiamonds.com. The telephone number is 1-800-432-1022. 1-800-432-1022. When you go to Harold's website, you're going to see museum-quality investment diamonds. This week's featured diamond is a .38 carat fancy gray blue oval argyle. And as was the case last week with the diamond that we had, one of the most stunning colors you will ever see. Go take a look at it right now, featured diamond at rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Now, we like to educate our radio listeners about what's going on in the markets and what not to believe at times and what to believe. Obviously, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors out there due to people trying to make things sound better than they actually are. And as we tape today's show, obviously a good jobs number out of the United States. But exactly what does that mean? According to Jim Clifton, he says the big lie of 5.6% unemployment, here it is. Here's something that many people, many Americans, including some of the smartest and most educated among us, don't know. The official unemployment rate, as reported by the U.S. Department of Labor, is extremely misleading. Right now, we're hearing much celebrating from the media, the White House, and Wall Street about how unemployment is down to 5.7%. The cheerleading for the number is deafening. The media loves a comeback story. The White House wants to score political points, and Wall Street would like you to stay in the market. None of them will tell you this. If you and a family member or anyone else is unemployed and have subsequently given up on finding a job, if you are so hopelessly out of work that you've stopped looking over the past 4 weeks, the Department of Labor does not count you as unemployed. That's right. While you are unemployed, as one possibly could be, and tragically many may never find work again, you are not counted in the figure we see relentlessly in the news, currently at 5.7% this morning. Right now, as many as 30 million Americans are either out of work or severely underemployed. Trust me, the vast majority of them aren't throwing parties to toast falling unemployment. There's another reason why the official rate is misleading. Say you're an out-of-work engineer or healthcare worker or construction worker or retail manager. If you perform a minimum of 1 hour of work in a week and are paid at least $20, maybe somebody pays you to mow their lawn, you're not officially counted as unemployed in much of the 5.7%. Few Americans know this, yet another figure of importance that doesn't get much press, those working part-time but wanting full-time work. If you have a degree in chemistry or math and are working 10 hours part-time because it's pretty much all you can find, in other words, you are severely underemployed and the government does not count you in the 5.7%. Few people, few Americans know this. Harold, the reason we do our radio show is obviously to help people profit and protect the money they have, and to educate as well. And we go beyond the mainstream. We dig, we find stories. This is a story you can get in our free weekly newsletter. You can look at it yourself. Connect with Harold at rarecoloreddiamonds.com or call 1-800-432-1022. We'll be happy to send this story out to you in our free weekly newsletter. But when you go through his logic as to what is happening, and it's all factually correct, it's literally stunning to think that we're being duped the way we are.
It really is, Randy. And the fact that the lies that come out of the White House, now again, you understand the reasons why they do that, but as a trader or somebody that, again, wants information in which to trade the market correctly, we're just not getting it. And that's why you have to dig that much more to find out what is really happening. And that's why, I love the fact that how hard you work on the newsletter. The newsletter is just loaded with the information you need to make an intelligent business decision. So, again, Randy puts a tremendous amount of work. It's extremely popular. Our clients love receiving it. And if you're not receiving it, it is free of charge. We'll email it to you every week. But, again, the lies that are coming out of the White House, unfortunately, you lose credibility with. Because when people catch you in lies, you lose your credibility. Unfortunately, with Wall Street, they don't care. Because with Wall Street, all they care about is that the stock market goes up. They don't care the reasons for it. So again, that's one of the reasons I stay away from that particular market. I like to trade markets that have some type of credibility. But then again, with everything happening in the United States at this point, that's been happening since 2008 and 9, it's very difficult to find any credibility in the markets at all. And that's obvious by how many, banks primarily and brokerage firms have been fined in the billions of dollars for doing illegal things. The problem is that they do a lot of damage to the general public that are trying to trade in the market and make some type of return. It's the general public, the hard-working everyday guy that, goes out and trades the market that's getting hurt. And the fact is that people on the inside and on Wall Street are making all the money, and they don't care how they make it, just as long as they are making it. So, again, that's one of the reasons that we stay away from that particular market. However, a lot of the markets at this point are being manipulated just to suit, the government and the country's needs, and it just makes it very difficult to trade because you can't trade on strong information. You're not trading on the right information, and that's what hopefully you'll get from our newsletters.
RareColoredDiamonds.com. That's the website that is world famous, made famous by Harold Siegel. And RareColoredDiamonds.com, the website, telephone number 1-800-432-1022. Harold's auction site is hsfineauctions.com. We'll talk more about that a little later in the show. And our featured diamond of the week is an absolutely stunning diamond. 0.38 carat, fancy gray blue oval Argyle. You can take a look at it at RareColoredDiamonds.com and the featured diamond of the week. Click on that link and it will take you through to that stunningly beautiful diamond. We have about 2 minutes left in the first segment of our show here, and it was interesting to note that last week we had Denmark cutting rates for a third time in 2 weeks. It now costs you 0.5% to save money in Denmark. And to make it even more interesting this week, Finland, they are the first nation in the region to pay negative yield on a 5-year debt instrument sold at auction. So basically, you are paying them to hold your money for 5 years. Literally unheard of. Also, billionaire Paul Singer. He says it's quite nutty to hold government debt, and he has his own company, Elliott Management. We've spoken about him on the show in the past, and he thinks that right now, negative interest rates and with what's going on with government debt, it's absolutely crazy to hold it. 1/5 of Russian banks could collapse in 2015. Russian banks are set to lose 1 trillion rubles in 2015. And you look at some of the things that are going on, as we touched on before, geopolitically in the world, and it's a time where you need to be very cautious. We could wake up one morning at any time and find out, Lord knows, another terrorist attack, or as we saw this week, you saw a Jordanian pilot set on fire by ISIS, something that sickens us all. It's one of those times where you need to be very defensive. You need to be definitely awake to where you have your money and be very cautious. And that's all the things that Harold has stood by for all the time that we've been doing the show. In fact, right around this time, back in 2002, Harold and I started doing the radio show together. And it was just after 9/11 that Harold started doing this radio show. He has a long track record, and speak with him about investing in hard assets at RareColoredDiamonds.com or call 1-800-432-1022. We're going to come back and talk about diamonds as the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall, continues right after this. Welcome back to the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial and diamond expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping our show on a Friday, February the 6th, 2015. Our time is 9:17 Mountain. Our radio show runs on your favorite radio stations, including 630 CHED in Edmonton, 3 in the afternoon. We have a podcast through iTunes. Type in The World Financial Report on Radio. You'll find our podcast there. You can subscribe to it. Our show is portable. We go anywhere you do. And don't forget, we have the show streaming on Harold's 2 websites, HESradio.com and rarecoloreddiamonds.com. To connect with Harold about investing in diamonds, go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com. And you can speak personally and privately with Harold about diamonds at 1-800-432-1022. 1-800-432-1022. Our featured diamond of the week is a .38 carat fancy gray blue. And as Harold has said, this is the rarest of the rare fancy gray blue oval argyle. What an amazing piece to start a diamond portfolio or even add to your diamond collection portfolio. Go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com and take a look at it. And our featured diamond of the week is just absolutely stunning. One of the top stories we have, and we can send it out to you via our newsletter, Christie's and Sotheby's posted record jewelry sales in 2014. And it's interesting to note, among Christie's most valuable sales in 2014 was the Winston Blue, a 13.22 carat pear-shaped fancy vivid blue flawless, sold by Christie's Geneva in May for $23.8 million, or nearly $1.8 million per carat. It was acquired by luxury brand Harry Winston. Among Sotheby's two largest sales for 2014 was the Zoe Diamond, a 9.75 carat vivid blue diamond from the collection of Mrs. Paul Mellon. That sold for $32.6 million at Sotheby's, New York in November. The stone set a world record for any blue and for the price per carat for any diamond at more than $3.3 million per carat. The other large sale was the Graf Vivid Yellow at 100.90 carats. It's one of the largest fancy vivid yellow diamonds in the world. It sold for $16.3 million at Sotheby's Geneva in November, setting a world record for any yellow and for any jewelry piece by Graf. Harold, we look back at, obviously we're in the early stages of 2015. We look back at 2014, and it was one heck of a year for colored diamonds.
It certainly was, and that is continuing. The colored diamond market is just doing tremendously well. And again, it's understandable because with what's happening in the currency markets, you understand that, first of all, diamonds, colored diamonds especially, are assets that could be sold in other currencies. So we can now see that if you have all your money in one particular currency and that currency goes bad, you're in big trouble. However, if you have an asset that can be sold in another currency, it's certainly going to help you. And again, with what's happening in Europe, diamonds are real estate in your pocket. Probably the most important, or one of the most important investments you could have at this particular time. So the diamond market is on fire. If you look what's happening at auction, these are the assets that are hitting the highest rate of return. And again, even though some of the diamonds are massive diamonds and in the multi-millions, if you look at what's happening with medium-priced diamonds, they're also doing extremely well. So that's why we bring this investment and this asset to you. It's a longer-term investment. You want to hold on to your diamonds 10, 15, 20 years to get the type of returns, that diamonds can give you. To buy a diamond and sell it in 2 or 3 or 4 years is a waste of your time. You're just not going to make the returns that you should be making because it's a longer-term asset. It's like putting your money away in a retirement savings plan, for 20 or 30 years, knowing that when you cash it out, it's going to be worth something substantial, and that's what's happening in the diamond business. So the best diamonds to own at this particular point, the diamonds that are going up the most in value, are pink diamonds, blue diamonds, yellow flawless diamonds, green diamonds. The odd time a green diamond will come onto the market. Green diamonds are very interesting because very seldom will you ever see one, and in order for a diamond to turn green, there has to be uranium in the ground. And that will turn a diamond green. What turns a diamond blue is boron. They don't know what turns a diamond pink. They think it's the inclusions within the diamond. That's why you'll very, very seldom ever see a pink diamond that is flawless. Very seldom will a pink diamond ever become flawless. and it's really all about the color, the heavy saturation in a pink diamond. So why are pink diamonds such a great investment? Because 95% of them come from one mine, the Argyle mine in Western Australia, and that mine is going to close. It's just not producing any diamonds anymore. Back in 1986, it was one of the biggest producing diamond mines in the world, and now it's on its last legs. We have an opportunity to make an awful lot of money trading in the pink diamond market. And the fact is that the Argyle mine is going to close within 5 years. If you happen to be one of the fortunate people to own an Argyle pink diamond, that's where you're going to make a huge amount of money. And we are one of the biggest dealers of Argyle pinks. Now, this is not a market that could be mass marketed. There's not a lot of these diamonds around. It's about 200 carats a year, enough to partially fill a champagne glass. That's how small the market is. But the Argyle mine produces 95% of the world's pinks, and the odd time an exotic diamond will come out of the Argyle mine, like the featured diamond this week. We were very fortunate when we got our shipment from Argyle that we got some very rare exotic Argyle diamonds. Now, Argyle is famous for their pink diamonds, and as I mentioned before, only 200 carats a year are these amazing pink diamonds. But also, and they're in very, very small quantity, but the odd blue diamond or grayish blue diamond or gray blue diamond like we're offering this week will become available. They are ridiculously rare. You'll very seldom ever see a diamond like that. And what Argyle does that no other diamond company really does is they laser inscribe their diamonds for identification purposes. So if you're ever looking to buy an Argyle pink or an Argyle exotic diamond, it's got to have a laser inscription. And on the GIA report, which stands for Gemological Institute of America, they grade these diamonds. You'll see at the bottom left-hand corner in the comment section where it will tell you that it's an Argyle diamond. It'll have the Argyle insignia, and then it'll have a 3, 4, 5, or 6-digit number that is engraved on the girdle of this diamond. So that's how you can tell that it's an Argyle. You never buy an Argyle diamond that is not laser inscribed. And again, we're talking about the rarest diamonds that you could possibly own. These pink diamonds and these exotic Argyles. Now, not only do we have the odd gray, blue, or blue diamond that comes out of Argyle, we also have the odd violet diamond. And these are just so rare, and diamonds that will increase in value because the colors are colors like you could never possibly imagine. The diamond this week and the diamond that we had last week that sold, which was also a gray blue, but it was a .41 and round and just almost flawless. It was a VVS2. It's such an amazing diamond, and when you see the color in person, you'll understand why colored diamonds are that rare and why they're such a phenomenal investment. We also love what's happening in the yellow diamond market. In order to make money in the yellow diamond, it's got to be flawless, and there's very, very few of those around. In actual fact, aside from our website, there's very few yellow flawless diamonds. They increase by at least 15% a year. You want to own the diamond for 10, 15, 20 years. You just want to put away and forget about it. The best example I can give you of that is a girlfriend of my wife's who inherited a pink diamond from her grandmother. Her grandmother bought the diamond 50 years ago for $50,000, and today the diamond is worth $5 million. So again, when people invest in diamonds, they either put it away for the long term, and if they've done well in life and they don't need to cash it in, well, then what they do is they turn it over to their kids and their grandkids. And that's where these diamonds take on a totally different life. Because when you can own a diamond, for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, the returns are unbelievable. To give an example, back in 1980, you could have bought a 1-carat, fancy yellow, internally flawless diamond for about $500. That was back in 1980. Now that diamond is worth about $20,000. That's what happens when you hold on to a diamond for a longer period of time. Now, if you hold on to a diamond for 2 or 3 years, you've defeated the purpose of owning it. You're just not going to get the returns because they don't trade on the exchanges. They don't trade like gold or stocks or commodities, where they trade daily on an exchange. Diamonds are a different type of investment. What they are for is for safety, because they never decline in value. they are great for capital preservation. And when the markets get as risky as they are now and as volatile as the markets are, where one day they're up substantially, the next day they're down, that doesn't happen in the diamond market. You don't get those ridiculous swings that you get in publicly traded markets. So again, diversification is extremely important. You definitely want to own an asset like a diamond for the long term because they'll preserve your capital in times of extremely volatile markets, but they'll also give you tremendous capital appreciation over a longer period of time. So again, we're in love with what's happening in the diamond market. The colored diamond market has done tremendously well, and as these markets get more and more volatile and the currency markets get crazy, these are the assets that do the best. So please go to our website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, and what you'll see is our investment quality diamonds. And then we have 8 Seagull Fine Auctions, which is the way that you resell your diamond down the road. And we also own Diamante Atelier, which is our jewelry division, which is out of West Palm Beach, Florida, one of the most beautiful locations you've ever seen. And we have over 7,000 pieces of jewelry that total over $150 million. And these are amazing investment quality diamonds that are already set in magnificent pieces. If you'd like to see that, we will send you our catalog via email for free so you can see what we carry. And again, there was recently an article in the Wall Street Journal that we will also send you that talks about how phenomenal colored diamond jewelry does as an investment. So we have all that for you. And then on top of that, we have one other division. This is our mining division. We have been in the mining of colored diamonds and white diamonds for 3 generations now. My partners are from Venezuela, and have been in the diamond business for 3 generations, going on the 4th now with their children. And the fact is that they own their own diamond mines. So primarily when you look at our jewelry, when you look at our diamond jewelry from Diamante Atelier, they're a third of what they would retail for. If a diamond sells for retail $100,000, you're going to be able to buy that from us for about a third of as to what you would pay for that. And the beauty of it is you can buy that diamond and hold on to it for a longer period of time, and then we'll sell it for you on our auction site when the time is right to do so. But we've been in the rough diamond business, as I mentioned, my partners have, for 3 generations. So what the rough diamond business consists of is owning your own diamond mines, which really consists of mostly rough white diamonds. And that's what the majority of the diamond business is. So they mine the rough diamonds, and their clients are diamond cutters and polishers. They sell the rough diamonds to their clients that have been their clients for decades now. And basically, the cutters buy these rough diamonds, they cut and polish them, and they sell them to the jewelry trade. And that's what 95% of the diamond business is. Mining white diamonds as rough diamonds, selling them to cutters who cut and polish them and sell them to the jewelry trade. So it's a very, very profitable business, especially when you own your own mines, because the only cost of that mine is the labor. So basically, when they pull a diamond out of the mine, it's almost at all profit, and then they cut and polish it and sell it to the marketplace at what the current values are. So what we do is we allow our clients to invest with us in our rough diamond business. It's a profitable business, so we can pay a very high rate of return. We pay 24% a year return U.S. dollars. Means that if you invest $100,000 U.S., which is going to cost you about $125,000 Canadian, you're going to get from us returns of 24% a year for 2 or 4 years, depending on which program you get. That means you'll get a bank wire or a check from us for $2,000 a month U.S. dollars. When you convert that to Canadian, that turns out to be about $2,500 a month Canadian. You're going to get that for 24 or 48 months, and then return of your capital. And what we've also done is that to ensure our clients' capital investment, we put in the equivalent amount of diamonds into a trust to back up our clients' capital. So God forbid anything happened to the diamond market, our clients are protected because we protected the entire investment with diamonds that we do not want to sell. In the trust, we have put a 4-carat intense blue flawless diamond worth over $7 million. Diamonds that we do not want to sell, that we want to hold on for the long term. So we have no problem putting these into the trust to back up the investment. But our clients, especially our Canadian clients that are retired, are loving this investment because even on a $25,000 investment, which is the minimum, you're making $500 a month American. When you convert that to Canadian, you're doing even better. So this is available to our clients. It'll bring you a second paycheck, but it'll also help you tremendously with a phenomenal return on your investment. Now, many people have asked, you can borrow money at 3, 4, 5%. Why would we be paying 24%? And that, which is an excellent question. And the answer to it is that for as long as I've been in business, my Canadian clients have been partners with me in deals. When we first started in metals, it was my Canadian clients that had the faith in me that bought gold at $250, and we made a lot of money in that market. And it was other deals that we've done over time that our clients have been involved with us on that have made these dealings very simple for us. So again, when we have a successful relationship with our clients and a good deal comes around, we're going to include it. Sure, we could get greedy and make more money on it. It's just not the way that we roll here. So basically, we are allowing our clients to trade with us in a rough diamond business. It pays 24% a year. You can do it over a 2-year or a 4-year period. And again, it all gets paid out in American money. Now, again, looking at what's happening with unemployment in Canada, with oil prices dropping, and a lot of our clients, concerned about what's happening up in Fort McMurray and with their jobs and type of thing, this is a perfect opportunity to get involved in this investment and get a paycheck every single month. Now, the way that it works is that because we're buying with your money the first month, you don't get paid the first month, but the 5th of every month after that, we either bank wire or send you a check, whichever your preference is. On the 24th month, at the end of the actual investment, we will make a double payment to you because you're going to get 12 or 24 payments, or 48 if you're taking the 4-year program, and this is how the program works. So if it's of interest to you, give us a call. We'll send you all the information. We'll send you the documents from the attorneys, and we'll send you the that explains that we're putting the equivalent amount of your investment. We'll put diamonds up to back up your investment for you, so you'll have no problem sleeping at night. So again, it's a tremendous opportunity. So we have our investment company, which is rarecoloreddiamonds.com, that sells investment quality diamonds. Yellow flawlesses, blues, argyle, pinks, deflawless whites. Then we have our auction business, which is our secondary market that will resell your diamonds for you when the time is right to do so. And we also use our auction business to raise money for charity. On March the 19th, we have an amazing charity auction for the Girl Scouts of America. And then we have Diamante Atelier, which is our magnificent jewelry business, which is also investment quality diamonds. And then we have our Natural Diamond Investment Company, which deals in the rough diamond business. And this is what we bring to our Canadian clients.
RareColoredDiamonds.com is the website. Harold brought it to our attention 10 years ago, and it is the #1 website on the internet for rare colored diamonds and investing in hard assets. Go to RareColoredDiamonds.com, featured Diamond of the Week, and take a look at our 0.38 carat fancy gray blue oval argyle. It is absolutely stunning. Amazing diamond. And you can speak with Harold personally and privately about investing in diamonds at 1-800-432-1022 or go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com. And Harold was talking about Diamante Atelier, and that is one of his companies. They put out a collection catalog for 2014-2015. We have a link to it in our newsletter. Harold can send it out to you. This is one of the finest jewelry catalogs I have ever seen. The items that are being offered for obviously wearing and for wealth, making money, are absolutely stunning. And we have a report, and it's a must-read report. It was done by Bain & Company. A few years back, Bain & Company were commissioned to do a report on diamonds. And they said diamonds, long-term, have a very bright future because you're seeing in the Far East, Asia, India, people start investing in diamonds. Before, it was just gold. Now, they're going into diamonds. We have this special report, Timeless Gems in a Changing World. And it has charts. They go through all the ins and outs as to why you want to be invested in the diamond market. They did a report 2 years ago. They've updated that report. And Harold, it's very exciting to read something like that and see the charts because they point out that the diamond market, no new mines being found, very, very rare diamonds, very hard to get, diamonds in general being consumed more around the world, and we're starting to see that more in the Far East. It's a recipe for, obviously, those that are investing in diamonds for success, because that means that the price of diamonds will continue to go up as we see a scarcity, and yet at the same time, we see more and more people wanting to be involved in these markets. And you take the Argyle mine out of the picture, as you spoke about earlier, Harold, and it's an investment somebody really needs to sit down and take a hard look at. It's not a obviously invest today, sell tomorrow scenario, but if you do have time and patience on your side, there are some incredible opportunities for money to be made in these markets, Harold.
Well, they certainly are. And again, there's no better time than the present because, again, we'll never have an opportunity to revisit what the Argyle mine is doing. There's no mine in existence that produces 95% of any given diamond. So once the Argyle mine closes, this is an opportunity that we'll never, ever get a chance to get again. So, again, I've been in these situations before. I know how to play them. We invested a fortune in Argyle pinks, and if you look at our website, we have more Argyle pink diamonds than anybody in the business, and the reason for that is it's the best investment you can make, and we want our clients to get involved in it.
If you want to really get an understanding of Harold Siegel, the person, we have different interviews. Harold has been interviewed on Fox Business News in the United States, and he was interviewed by Deirdre Bolton. Deirdre Bolton, depending on where you live. I know over in the UK they say Deirdre. But Deirdre Bolton, Fox Business News, interviewed Harold. We have that interview. She was also on Bloomberg Television, and we have her interview with Harold on Bloomberg. And Harold was interviewed by Carol Masser on Bloomberg. We have that interview too. But if you really want to get to know Harold Siegel, the man, he was interviewed on the Jerry Bovino show, which is out of Aspen, called Eye on Aspen. It's an hour-long show, and you'll really get a chance to, in this hour-long program, as Jerry sits down with Harold and interviews him about his philosophy in investing, even talks a little bit about his family life. You'll really get a chance to see Harold in action and have an understanding of what he's all about. We'll be happy to send those interviews out to you. The Jerry Bovino show interview, the Bloomberg television interviews, and the Fox Business News interviews. You'll get a chance to see Harold in action. And Harold, 2014, and we have about a minute or so here left. 2014, as we stated earlier, was a very good year for auctions, diamonds, in particular, though, colored diamonds.
You bet, and that's going to continue. The more volatile the markets get, the more people will gravitate to these type of investments. Diamonds are doing tremendously well. Classic cars are doing well. People want to put their money into things that they own and enjoy. And again, you're going to see that 2015 and going forward, where the markets will be very, very volatile, the diamond market will be very strong.
Thank you very much, Harold Siegel.
It's my pleasure, Randy. I wish everybody a wonderful weekend and a very profitable day.
Get our free weekly newsletter. Connect with Harold at rarecoloreddiamonds.com. rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Speak to him about investing in his loose diamond program. Obviously, a very interesting opportunity. rarecoloreddiamonds.com or call 1-800-432-1022. 1-800-432-1022. And if you would like to learn more about our featured diamond of the week, go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com or speak with Harold. Featured diamond of the week is a .38 carat fancy gray blue oval Argyle. absolutely stunning, to say the least. And remember, when it comes to diamonds, they are the most secure and profitable investment, millions of years in the making. RareColoredDiamonds.com. The website has been around since 2005 when Harold brought this to our attention, investing in diamonds. It has some of the world's most incredible investment diamond museum-type pieces online in one spot. Diamonds are nature's art, private, portable, stable wealth. Speak with Harold today about starting your own diamond investment portfolio. Connect with him at RareColoredDiamonds.com or 1-800-432-1022. That's it. Another edition of the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall. We will talk to you next week.